Sometimes the best way to be remembered is not by chasing, but by walking away with dignity. Do you want to know how to make them miss you after a breakup? It's not in the words you say, it's in the person you become. When a breakup happens, emotions run high, and the first instinct is often to fight against the silence. You want to call, you want to text, you want to pour your heart out and explain yourself one more time. That desperation, that fear of being forgotten, makes you believe that your words can hold someone who has already let go. But here is the truth: silence is not weakness, silence is strength. It speaks in a way words never can. When you stop speaking, stop chasing, and stop reaching out, you create a void that makes the other person question your absence. They expect you to cling, but when you don't, that silence echoes louder than any message ever could. Silence is a mirror, and it forces the other person to look at themselves. When you step back and stop filling the air with your voice, your presence becomes a memory they can't escape. Every unanswered text they thought they'd get, every call they assumed you'd make. When those things don't happen, it unsettles them. They begin to wonder, why isn't she reaching out? Has she moved on? Has she stopped caring? That curiosity grows into thought, and those thoughts turn into missing you. The absence you create becomes a presence in their mind, and that is the power of silence. Another reason silence works is because it shifts the power back to you. In a breakup, it's easy to feel powerless, like everything is slipping out of your hands. But silence allows you to reclaim control. You are no longer dancing to their rhythm, no longer reacting to their words or action. You're showing them that you can exist, thrive, and breathe without their validation. And nothing shakes a person more than realizing that someone they thought would crumble is actually standing tall in silence. By not reaching out, you declare, without saying a single word, "I don't need you to survive." That declaration alone has the power to make him miss you more than tears ever will. Silence also gives you space to heal. It's not just about making him miss you. It's about rediscovering yourself. When you stop obsessing over what to say or how to respond, you free your energy. You start hearing your own thoughts again instead of being drowned out by the noise of heartbreak. In that quiet, you remember who you were before the relationship. You remember the goals, the dreams, and the fire that existed in you long before he came into your life. That healing, that rediscovery, becomes visible in the way you carry yourself. And when he sees it, even from afar, it speaks louder than any late night message you could send. Think about it: silence is not emptiness, it is mystery. People are drawn to mystery. If you keep explaining yourself, if you keep showing up, if you keep being predictable, there is nothing left to wonder about. But silence leaves questions unanswered, and questions create a longing for answers. That longing turns into missing you. That's why silence has always been the most powerful language of strength. It does not shout. It does not beg, it whispers in ways that make people listen harder. Your silence becomes a puzzle, and the human heart cannot resist trying to solve it. Finally, silence separates the temporary from the permanent. If someone truly cared, they will eventually break their own silence to reach out. If they don't, then you have saved yourself from wasting more time. Either way, you win. Your silence becomes the filter that reveals what was real and what was not. And while you wait in that silence, you grow, you heal, you rebuild. By the time he realizes what your silence meant, you may have already outgrown the need for him. And that is the ultimate transformation, turning silence into strength, into healing, into freedom. Silence doesn't just make him miss you, it makes you remember your worth. When a relationship ends, The temptation is to focus on the loss, on what you no longer have. But the truth is, a breakup can also be the spark that pushes you to rise higher than ever before. That's where the glow up begins. A true glow up is not about impressing anyone else. It is not just about changing how you look on the outside. It is about transforming who you are on the inside. When you rebuild yourself, when you commit to becoming stronger, healthier, and wiser, that transformation naturally radiates outward, and nothing makes someone miss you more than realizing the person they left behind is now shining brighter than ever before. Think about it. When you pour energy into your health, exercising, eating better, sleeping well, you begin to see results in your body. You look more alive. You stand taller, your skin glows, and your energy shifts. People notice, even from a distance, and so does he. The version of you he once knew begins to evolve into someone greater. You no longer look weighed down by heartbreak. You look empowered by it. That kind of physical glow is undeniable. It silently communicates, I'm not broken, I'm rebuilding, and that makes him wonder if he made the wrong choice walking away. But a true glow up doesn't stop with the body. It goes deeper into the mind. After a breakup, the most powerful thing you can do is invest in your growth. Read books that inspire you, learn new skills that excite you, take a course, start a project, chase a passion you once set aside. Each step you take toward becoming a stronger version of yourself creates a mental glow that cannot be ignored. You begin to speak with more confidence, carry yourself with more clarity, and live with more purpose. That mental transformation is magnetic. It shows that you are no longer stuck in the past. You are building a future. Emotional growth is another key part of the glow up. Too often after heartbreak, people let bitterness and resentment dim their light. But when you choose forgiveness, peace, and emotional maturity, you create a calm aura around you that others can feel. Instead of being reactive, you become grounded. Instead of holding grudges, you let go. That inner peace radiates from you in your smile, your laugh, your energy. People sense it when they are around you. And when he sees that you are no longer burdened by pain, but instead glowing with calm confidence, that's when he begins to miss what he lost most. And let's not forget the spiritual glow. Whether through faith, meditation, or personal reflection, reconnecting with your inner self gives you a power that no breakup can steal. When you realign with your higher purpose and understand your worth beyond a relationship, you walk differently. You no longer need validation from anyone else because you are already full from within. That spiritual strength cannot be faked, and it cannot be ignored. When he looks at you and sees that inner fire burning brighter, he realizes he is no longer the center of your world. And that shift is what makes him miss you deeply. The beauty of a glow up is that it is not about revenge. It is about rebirth. You are not doing it to prove him wrong. You are doing it to prove yourself right. You are reminding yourself of who you are and what you are capable of. And ironically, when you focus on building yourself instead of trying to get his attention, that's when he begins to notice. That's when he begins to feel the absence. That's when he begins to miss the light he no longer has access to. The glow up is not about him, it's about you, but the side effect is undeniable. When you shine, they can't help but see the glow they walked away from. Confidence is not something you can fake for long. It's an energy, a presence, a way of moving through the world that others can feel without a single word spoken. After a breakup, many people lose their sense of worth. They start questioning everything. Am I good enough? Was I not attractive enough? Did I fail? But here's the truth. Confidence is not about being perfect. It's about knowing your value and walking in it every single day. When you carry yourself with confidence, people notice, and the one who left you behind, he notices most of all, because confidence is magnetic. It draws attention without effort. It makes people miss what they once had but can no longer hold. Confidence starts with the way you see yourself. If you view yourself as broken, others will see you as broken. If you see yourself as powerful, capable, and worthy, that's exactly how others will see you too. It all begins internally by changing the narrative in your mind. Instead of telling yourself you're not enough, remind yourself of all the things you've overcome. Think of the battles you've fought, the challenges you've survived, and the strength you carry within. When you remind yourself of your victories, your posture changes, your voice gets stronger, your energy becomes undeniable, and that confidence makes people pay attention. Another powerful aspect of confidence is independence. When you show that you can stand on your own 2 feet, when you no longer depend on someone else for happiness, you radiate strength. Independence is not about rejecting love, it's about knowing that love is an addition to your life, not the foundation of it. When you demonstrate that you are capable of building, growing, and thriving without him, you instantly raise your value in his eyes. He begins to realize that you are not waiting for him, and that thought alone makes him question what he lost. Confidence in your independence tells the world, I don't need anyone to complete me. I am already whole. Confidence is also magnetic because it silences insecurity. Imagine walking into a room, head held high, eyes forward, a smile that says, I know who I am. You don't have to say a word, yet everyone feels your presence. That's the power of confidence. It doesn't shout. It doesn't beg. It doesn't try too hard. It simply exists, and people can't help but be drawn to it. Even the person who walked away will feel it. They might not admit it, but they'll notice that glow, that aura, that energy that separates you from the crowd. Confidence doesn't chase, it attracts. And here's something crucial. Confidence doesn't come from external approval. It comes from daily choices you make within yourself. It's built through discipline, in taking care of your body, pursuing your goals, staying true to your values. It's built by keeping promises to yourself, whether that's showing up to the gym, finishing that project, or simply refusing to settle for less than you deserve. Each small win builds a foundation of inner trust, and that trust becomes the core of your confidence. When you live in alignment with your values, you radiate a kind of power that no breakup can take away. That power is irresistible. Finally, confidence is magnetic because it tells a story. It says, I was broken, but I healed. I was abandoned, but I rose. I was doubted, but I proved myself. When you walk with confidence, you are not just walking for yourself. You are walking as proof that resilience is beautiful, and that story is unforgettable. The one who left will look back and realize that the person they underestimated has become unstoppable. And that realization will sting, because nothing makes someone miss you more than the sight of your confidence shining brighter than their doubts ever could. After a breakup, the natural temptation is to shrink, to retreat, to hide away and wait for the storm of emotions to pass. But here's the reality. If you truly want him to miss you, you cannot fade into the background. You must rise into the fullest version of yourself and create a life so vibrant, so meaningful, and so full of purpose that ignoring you becomes impossible. This doesn't mean living for his attention. It means living so boldly for yourself that attention follows naturally. The best revenge, the best response, and the best medicine is building a life that shines brighter than the heartbreak ever could. Living a life he can't ignore starts with saying yes to opportunities you once avoided. Maybe during the relationship you held yourself back. Maybe you sacrificed certain dreams, passions, or friendships for him. Now is the time to reclaim them. Travel to places you've always wanted to see. Join communities that challenge you. Try activities that scare you in the best way possible. Every new experience adds layers to your life, and those layers create a depth that is magnetic. When he sees you living fully, not bitter, not broken, but boldly, he will feel the weight of your absence in ways words could never express. More than experiences, it's about purpose. A purposeful life is unforgettable. If you dedicate yourself to something meaningful, whether it's your career, your craft, your studies, or a passion project, you instantly raise your presence in the world. Passion is attractive because it radiates energy. When people see you working hard, building something, and staying consistent, they recognize value. And when he sees it, he realizes that you no longer revolve around him. You revolve around your vision. And nothing stirs regret more than realizing you let go of someone who is destined for greatness. Another key to living a life he can't ignore is surrounding yourself with the right people. Energy is contagious, and the people you allow in your circle will either drain you or elevate you. Surround yourself with friends who uplift you, mentors who guide you, and communities that celebrate your growth. When your social circle grows, your happiness grows. When your happiness grows, your aura expands. And when he looks from the outside and sees you loved, supported, and thriving, he begins to question if he ever truly knew your worth. Being surrounded by joy and positive energy makes you radiant, and radiance cannot be ignored. Also, don't underestimate the power of visibility. In today's world, the life you live is not just physical, it's digital. When you share your wins, your travels, your laughter, and your growth authentically, the message spreads. It reaches people, it inspires them, and yes, it even reaches him. A picture of you smiling with friends, a post about your progress, a glimpse of your new chapter. All of these moments become reminders of what he no longer has access to. You don't have to flaunt or fake it. Just live authentically, and the glow of your life will do the rest. At the end of the day, living a life he can't ignore isn't about making him regret leaving. It's about making yourself proud of staying. It's about building a life so rich, so fulfilling, that whether or not he notices becomes irrelevant. And that's the paradox. When you stop trying to make him see you, when you truly focus on creating the life you deserve, that's when he does see you. That's when he does miss you, because you've transformed from someone who was waiting for love into someone who is already living it. In every experience, every moment, every breath, a life fully lived is the loudest statement you could ever make. After a breakup, the easiest trap to fall into is becoming too available, answering every call, replying to every message, allowing him to walk in and out of your life as if nothing has changed. But here's the truth. When someone no longer values your presence, the most powerful thing you can do is protect your peace with boundaries. Boundaries are not walls, they are gates. They do not keep love out, they simply keep chaos away. And when you raise your standards, when you demand respect through your actions, people take notice. Nothing makes someone miss you more than realizing they no longer have free access to you. Boundaries begin with clarity. You must know what you will and will not accept. That means asking yourself difficult questions. Am I responding out of loneliness or out of self-respect? Am I letting him back in because he deserves another chance or because I'm afraid of being alone? When you answer honestly, you take back your power. Once you know your limits, you can draw the line firmly. You don't have to announce it with anger. You simply live it. A man who once thought he could call at midnight and get an answer will soon realize that silence has become your new reply. That silence isn't cruelty, it's a boundary, and it forces him to recognize your worth. Another truth about boundaries is that they create value. Think about anything rare in this world. It is protected. Diamonds are locked away, treasures are guarded, and access is limited. Why? Because value is not placed in what is freely available. The same principle applies to you. When you allow someone to cross every line without consequence, you tell them you are not valuable. But when you set firm boundaries, you remind them that you are priceless. You teach them that your time, your energy, your heart are privileges, not entitlements. And the moment they realize that privilege is gone, the missing begins. Setting boundaries also protects your healing process. Without boundaries, the wounds of heartbreak are constantly reopened. One text, one call, one unexpected visit, and suddenly the progress you made is undone. But when you guard your peace, you give yourself room to breathe, to rebuild, to rediscover who you are outside of the relationship. You stop letting someone else dictate your emotions, and you start taking control of your own journey. That space allows you to heal faster and stronger. And ironically, the more you focus on your healing, the more he begins to feel the weight of your absence. Because healing makes you glow, and boundaries create the space for healing to happen. But let's be clear, boundaries are not about punishment. They are about respect. They are about teaching others how to treat you by showing them how you treat yourself. If you allow disrespect, you'll continue to receive it. But when you demand respect, not through words, but through consistent action, you shift the dynamic. You show him that access to you is earned, not assumed. And when he sees you standing firm, not bending to his convenience, he realizes something powerful. You no longer need him. That realization alone creates an emptiness that no one else can fill. And here's the most powerful part. Boundaries are not just about him. They are about you. When you draw the line, you are not only protecting yourself from further pain, you are also shaping your future. You are saying, I will not accept less than I deserve. I will not compromise my peace for temporary comfort. I will not allow anyone to take advantage of my love. That self-respect becomes the foundation of your new life. And as you build on it, as you stand on it, your presence becomes unforgettable. Because nothing is more attractive, nothing is more magnetic, and nothing is more missed than a woman who values herself enough to protect her peace. Forgiveness is often misunderstood. People think it means letting someone off the hook, excusing the pain, or pretending it never happened. But true forgiveness is none of those things. Forgiveness is freedom. It's choosing not to carry the weight of anger, bitterness, or resentment on your shoulders anymore. After a breakup, that weight can crush you if you let it. You replay every argument, every betrayal, every goodbye. But when you forgive, you release yourself from that prison. You don't forgive because they deserve it. You forgive because you deserve peace. And that peace is the most powerful form of moving on. But here's the mistake many make. In forgiving someone else, they forget themselves. They forgive him for the lies, the neglect, the leaving. But then they punish themselves for not seeing it sooner. They blame themselves for staying too long, for loving too deeply, for hoping too hard. That kind of self-blame is just another prison. You cannot heal if you're holding yourself hostage. Forgiveness must extend in both directions, toward the one who hurt you and toward the one in the mirror. You must forgive yourself for what you didn't know then, because now you know better, and that wisdom is worth more than the pain. When you forgive, you break the chain. Every time you hold on to bitterness, you keep yourself tied to the very person who hurt you. It's like dragging their memory behind you wherever you go. But when you forgive, you cut the chain. You walk forward free, lighter, unburdened. And here's the powerful twist. When he sees you at peace, when he sees that you're no longer haunted, when he sees you smiling without the shadow of anger, that's when he misses you most, because anger still means you care. But peace means you've risen above, and nothing is more unsettling to someone who hurt you than seeing you live free of their shadow. Forgiveness also restores your power. As long as you stay angry, you give the other person control over your emotions. One thought of him can ruin your day, one memory can break your focus. But when you forgive, you reclaim that control. You decide that he no longer gets to own your happiness. He no longer gets to interrupt your peace. That decision is liberating, and it shines in the way you carry yourself. When you walk with that kind of self-assurance, you don't need to shout that you've moved on. Your energy declares it for you. And that energy is unforgettable. But don't confuse forgiveness with access. Forgiving someone doesn't mean letting them back into your life. It doesn't mean lowering your boundaries or reopening wounds. Forgiveness is about inner release, not outer permission. You can forgive someone and still choose never to let them near you again. That is not cruelty, it's wisdom. You can say, "I wish you well, but you no longer have a seat at my table." That balance is what makes forgiveness so powerful. It is love without weakness, kindness without compromise, and that is the kind of strength that makes people miss you long after they're gone. At the end of it all, forgiveness is not about him, it's about you. It's about remembering yourself in the process. Don't just forgive to move on, use forgiveness to rise higher. Use it to rebuild your sense of self, your self-respect, your dignity. Because the truth is, once you forgive, you stop being defined by what was done to you, and you start being defined by what you chose to do about it. And that choice makes you radiant. That choice makes you untouchable. That choice makes you unforgettable. Forgiveness doesn't erase the past, but it makes sure the past no longer controls your future. Asterisk, so hear me clearly, making him miss you after a breakup is not about tricks. It's not about games, and it's not about begging for attention. It's about stepping into your power. It's about silence that speaks louder than words. It's about glowing up from the inside out. It's about confidence that doesn't chase but attracts. It's about living a life so full of purpose that no one can ignore it. It's about setting boundaries that protect your peace, and forgiving in a way that frees your soul without forgetting yourself. If he misses you, let it be because you became unforgettable. If he regrets losing you, let it be because you rose higher than he ever imagined. But remember this, your goal is not to make him miss you. Your goal is to make yourself proud, to build a life so beautiful, so strong, so unshakable, that whether he remembers you or not, you will never forget the strength you found within yourself. So don't wait, don't chase, don't beg, stand tall, glow brighter, live fuller, because the greatest way to make anyone miss you is to never go missing from yourself. Asterisk.